welcome to the Hangout. We are continuing a conversation from before we started, and that was, well, Jonathan, why don't you go ahead and repeat what you just said so people can know all the good work you're doing.
Okay, so since we're talking about my t-shirt, wait a minute, something's not right, something's not right. Okay, everything is right now. I'm now wearing a hat. My head
Pirate hat today.
So yes, this is the pirate hat. I bought it because I don't have a pirate hat, but it's multifaceted, so it's multi-purpose. But now the t-shirt, which was the main topic of conversation that we had on before, is that what this my t-shirt say? I'm not a nihilist. I'm just depressed. This is not the t-shirt I thought I was wearing, honestly.
What t-shirt did you think you were wearing?
I thought I was wearing this t-shirt because this is how my mornings are like sometimes. I didn't realize I didn't have a hat on. I didn't realize what t-shirt I was wearing. I thought I was wearing this t-shirt because I got this at Planned Parenthood because I'm part of their action network, essentially. And so I volunteered for them on Tuesday, part of a phone bank. We were calling Alaskan Planned Parenthood supporters to talk to their Senator Murkowski, to tell them that, like, hey, Senator Murkowski, we want you to block President Trump's nomination for the Supreme Court and Brett Kavanaugh, because he's going to plan to overturn Roe versus Wade and get rid of the ACA as much as he can. And I think he's just bad enough just that he's a Trump nominee. And I'm sure there's a lot of reasons to hate him, but those were the reasons that Planned Parenthood is focused on. So yeah, that's what I did on Tuesday. I did like the phone bank sort of thing. So I got that t-shirt that I showed, and I got this button for that. So yes, but this t-shirt is awesome as well. I'm not the nihilist. I'm just the press. Call back to the hangout call back to the hangout that Kristi, Kevin, and Pascal did as we reacted to Jordan Peterson's video. But now to finish off the fancy show, and then I'll stop talking afterwards. My leggings, because I promised Ted Shiraz that is not a Kristi Winters Patreon hangout complete without me showing off my leggings. And now the leggings, it is purple, but it's purple lightning.
Ooh, very interesting. I don't know that we've seen those on the show before.
I probably have, yes.
Does that mean there's purple rain too?
I mean, you can't get purple lightning without purple rain. So of course.
All right, so locked off. All right. Well, there we go. The fashion show and activism update. And I just want all of us to give a little round of applause, Jonathan, for not just doing, but saying. So thank you for doing stuff to make a change. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I ended up getting a lot of answering machines and voicemails, unfortunately. And a lot of businesses, like a obedience center for dogs, dog training, a curling center. Someone else got a McDonald's. I got a Wells Fargo branch, and then a couple of district attorney offices. But I think the guy who was the organizer at that for Planned Parenthood thought maybe a lot of people for their contact information were putting down their work phones instead of their home phones. So
right, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and Tom and I think Tom was agreeing with me that when I did a lot of GeoTV, getting an answering machine was actually kind of a relief because you could just do your little spiel and not have to say, oh, is this so-and-so? And, oh, I'm calling on behalf of, and then they go, blah, I don't like you, or stop calling me, or I already voted, leave me alone. So, yeah. Yeah,
the actual human people I talk to is one actually says, oh, yeah, screw Kavanaugh. What do you want me to do? And I was like, oh, yeah, great. It's can you do this? And so, no, two people, I did not transfer people to talk to the Senator Murkowski's office, but they said they will talk and call her on their own time, which is fine. But yeah, one guy who was a real person is he asked me, what do you need? It wasn't the person I was supposed to call, but I was just what do you need? Okay, blah, 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 and then hung up. It's whoa. That could have gone in worse direction, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your experience like that too, Tom?
Well, I haven't actually done a lot of that. I'm thinking more along the lines of I had a job once that I was calling I was calling people who had used directory assistance. I was calling as a, sort of doing a follow-up for the AT&T directory assistance service that they do. So
Yeah.
it was people that actually had the service, and I was calling to see if they remembered what they'd asked for and if they got what they wanted and that kind of stuff. I also was there to, I also took complaints or suggestions or whatever and worked out issues with these people. And after a while, even in that kind of job where you're not calling people to sell them anything or to get them to do anything, it's it gets grim after a little bit of people questioning why you're calling, thinking you're calling for something else, telling you to shut up, interrupting in the middle of probably sex for all I know, and that kind of stuff. After a couple hours of that, it's kind of nice to get a few answering machines or no shows or just busy signals which I let ring for a long time. Sometimes when I don't want to move on right away. So
yeah, exactly. Just like take a little mental break. Like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here in this moment before I have to go on to the next one.
Yeah, I'm not good with people. I don't like phones a lot. Never have actually liked telephones a lot, and I would have been really bad if that was a sales job. But I don't think I wouldn't have taken it if it was a sales job. So I can imagine the kind of stuff you get if you are calling for a Democratic or even worse, left, more left-wing kind of issue, and you get a Trump supporter, for instance, or
we were calling Alaska, so yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Tim joined us.
Hi, Tim.
And test your mic, see how your sound is.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're all pretty much okay except Mariana. She's really tired, so she's kind of we're not putting a lot of pressure on her and expectations this time. She's just here to enjoy the ride. And we were just talking about it kind of moved into how telemarketing or telephone jobs can be pretty crap. But how are you doing? What's life like where you are right now, Tim?
The weather's nice for today. It's it's cloudy but sunny. Just enjoying the afternoon.
Cool.
And yeah, I do like a practice, like a demo class tonight for a new teaching job I'm supposed to start soon.
Sweet.
And,
good
for that. So I was just watching the news and I didn't realize that it was the 1 year anniversary of Charlottesville, and the white power people are in Washington right now praying for another rally. That's really, the 1 year anniversary of when we killed that girl, Heather Heyer. I'm sure.
They're marching in DC today, and there's a counter protest that's also marching against them. And there was a big protest march in Charlottesville of just people opposed to white supremacists, it looks like. And the police showed up in force. So, they kind of got the wrong year and the wrong tactics, but, So, hello to Point Curation, by the way. Thank you for the contribution. And Point Curation says, hope everyone has a nice chat. So, thanks.
There you go.
And also, Debs is in the live chat, or DB2. They were from the Ted Shiraz SPAC chat.
Oh, okay.
Yes, which Tom is always in this SPAC chat with Deb, and I was in the SPAC chat for a little bit. I always to come late to the SPAC chat. That's Ted Sriracha's live chats that he does every 2 weeks and stuff like that. And Little Anna was also in the SPAC chat too. I bet she's going to join us a little bit later after our dinner or stuff like that.
Okay.
And yes, and Anna Rainstafter is also here. So hello to Anna Rainstafter as well.
Yeah, so it's a big party. Waves to everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, wave back. As a question, am I a social democrat? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I can't really vote in Germany because I don't properly live here, and I only get limited voting rights, you know, in the states in which the option is only the Democratic Party. But if I had the opportunity, yeah, I would definitely vote for a social democratic party.
Yeah, and you are critical of the major problems with capitalism. And so like for me, I definitely I definitely will agree with you on like those major things. So it's kind of like what Steve Shives used to say he's a guilty capitalist, and I kind of like that, where it's just like he doesn't want to fully abandon, like throw the baby out with the bathwater, but yet he is critical of the thing. So like Steve is like a 5.5 on the scale of 0 being like an ANCAP and 10 being like a major socialist and stuff like that. I think you and Steve will be right about there, a 5.5 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't inherently think capital as a economic concept or phenomenon is flawed. I think the problem with capital is how it's abused. And also, I really like this idea I saw recently on the internet where someone was saying, you know, to reduce taxes on earned income and increase taxes on unearned income. In other words, if you earn your labor by working for it, you should pay less tax on it than if you do it from not earning, like your capital gains tax, basically. And so, yeah, I think that, you know, capitalism has a lot of ability to harness raw talent and harness ideas if you have the right marketplace, and also if you have things like universal healthcare, so businesses don't have to worry about those kinds of costs, you know. And so I think that there's a place for a well-regulated, highly taxed capitalist economic system that's, you know, that could function in a way that I don't want to say would perfectly redistribute. I can see that there would still be different, you know, people who do, but I don't know that I would have a maximum wage. I really would. Nobody is worth $7 million a year in what they do in a 40-hour week. It's just the concept of that is ridiculous. So yeah, I think it's about reform. So anyway, that's a really long answer to a question that one person in the chat sort of asked. But
well, hey, I mean, I also like interject as well with my thoughts on the question as well. And besides, if anyone says, "Oh, you're overthinking things," I'll be really hesitant to be like, I don't think there's such a thing as overthinking things. Well, maybe there is. Hey, Ted's in the chat. Hello, Ted. We talked about you a little bit.
Yeah. Also, Rational Revenant and Ecom.
Yep.
So hi.
Yep. Hello to all. Great. And Chris joined us. So hello, Chris. How are you?
Hi, Chris.
Okay. Hi. Hi.
How you doing?
Doing fine.
Looking good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I like the earring.
Oh, yeah.
Is that amethyst? Or?
It's I think it's a garnet. I don't know. It's just something I picked up along the way.
Pretty blue rock.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess that was just a capitalism tangent we got into, but I can't remember where we were going to go from there. I think Tim was talking and then he got interrupted.
Yeah, like I kind of about capitalism. I guess I'd call it the Nordic model would probably be better than what we have in North America, anyways, where it's sort of like, you know, socialism, social capitalism, I think is what they call it, and it's like, you know, it's a really highly regulated version of capitalism, where, you know, they have like as close to social equality as you can get. You know, it's a really high wage for like menial labor or just in general, I guess. But yeah, and I remember when I was at a bar one time, one of my friends puked, and the woman that cleaned up, my friend mentioned it wasn't the one through, it was a different friend. They said, oh yeah, she gets like, you know, 500 extra of their money to clean that up whenever someone pukes. So they kind of have like things like that they throw in there to make it even better for people that have to do stuff like that. So,
the worst jobs get a little bonus.
Right, yeah.
Compensation. Yeah.
It's like not danger pay, but like, you know, something
sucks pay. Like this sucks. This job sucks pay.
Puke pay in case.
I was going to ask, do you know about the Works Council system as a general concept in Germany?
Do you mean the Betriebsräte?
Is that where the employees come together with management?
Yes.
Yeah, could you maybe explain? Because this is an amazing thing. I think a lot of like American and maybe Canadian employers could do.
Yeah, definitely.
All right then. So in Germany, unions are a pretty well anchored thing. I'm a union member of the IG Metall, which is the biggest union in Germany. And employers of a certain size have to have a Betriebsrat. This is a person who is who has to defend the needs of the workers against employer. So if there's if there's a need for betriebsbedingte Kündigungen, so if people have to be laid off, the Betriebsrat has to be consulted. There has to be a social plan for the people to be laid off, and practically everything the employer wants to do, he has to first discuss with the Betriebsrat, and if the Betriebsrat says no, we can't sign off on this, then they have to talk. For example, my employer is currently discussing the Beteiligung am Geschäftserfolg, which means a bonus that you get if the company does well. And the first idea of the employer was, well, only the exempt employees of functional level 4 will get it. Betriebsrat said, no, you can't do that. You have to treat all employees the same. Then employer said, well, okay. We will give the people of functional level 5 something as well. But the tariff employees, they got the good raise with the tariff discussion from the union, so they don't get that bonus as well. Then Betriebsrat said, well, most of the work that led to us being moderately decent for once was done by the tariff workers, and it's not tied to individual performance. So it has to apply for all employees, not just the exempt employees. And employer said, nope, can't do that. And Betriebsrat said, well, we can't sign off on what you want, so no one gets anything. And generally, the Betriebsrat is there to protect the employees in the same way HR is there to protect the employer. So it's a pretty well-known practice that certain discounter supermarkets in Germany keep their supermarkets below the size where they had where a Betriebsrat would be mandatory. They could do it at that size as well, but they don't have to, so they don't. And so yeah.
So in that case, what happened with the bonus? Was it just not given? Because it sounds like everybody got screwed over in that case, to be honest. So how did it end?
Well, the last talk was last week, and then employer said, oh, the evil Betriebsrat doesn't let us do this. Betriebsrat said, well, what they were doing was give a big ass amount to functional level 4, a tiny bit to the functional level 5, and 50 euros for the rest.
Right. So it's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing,
Okay.
and the way it looks, we won't get anything. So I think this year for last year we got 300 euros. So the amount they were offering was basically a fuck you.
Right. Okay. And you don't have to worry about that yourself because your union rep is there, and the employers have to listen to them. Like, it's not just they can ignore you and do what they want.
Exactly. And
Yeah. So.
Also, a company can decide, okay, everyone we hire from now on will only get the union rates if they actually belong to the union. And so, well, that's one of the reasons I joined. Also, my disability issues, and well, we have a disability council as well. That's and I'm actually I have the status of disability, even though I in workplace rights, even though I don't have a high enough rate otherwise.
Basically,
So-
the workers get a lot more protection and say, and it's not just you're fired, pack your bags. You
Yes.
basically get called in on Friday and given a pink slip saying, "Here's your last paycheck. Goodbye. Don't come back Monday. Clean out your desk." That
Yeah.
can't happen when you have a troops bench.
That's absolutely impossible, because you can both sides can terminate the contract. Every German worker has a contract. That's a thing I have learned isn't the case in the US.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And so there's actually, they say, okay, if you want to leave the company, you have to give 3 months notice. And oftentimes the notice period for the employer is even longer. So, but most of the time, if you're good, they won't give you up. And you have to do really egregious stuff, get fired for cause without notice, because they have to write you up a certain number of times, and it has to be, well, you have to steal or something.
Mhm.
So they can't just say, I don't like your face, go.
Yep, no such thing as fire at will in Germany. That's good, because we do have fire at will in Washington State, as far as I know. Yeah.
Yeah, this whole right to work is basically right to be fired.
Yeah.
Legislation is what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you happen to be gay, there are I think most states or a lot of states, they can just dump your ass for the fact that you're gay. And that would be something they could pull over somebody's head for all kinds of things, nefarious and nefarious.
I just saw a study that shows that in terms of earning of actual wages, like when you control for the cost of living and inflation and things, that American wages have been stagnant since the 1970s. And when did they start killing off unions?
Yeah.
The 1970s. No, they went
Yeah.
first after private companies, and now they're going after the public unions to destroy them as well. And all of it is about a race to the bottom to keep labor costs low so that you can reap the most profits and suck more and more riches into fewer and fewer hands. And that's exactly why government needs to control capitalism, because that's its natural tendency.
I wonder about that timing, though, because if you remember the 70s, or at least the late 70s, were that period of stagflation, where businesses, hi Leto,
Hello.
the stagflation where the economy was stagnant, but there was still inflation, and companies were and everybody got sort of weirded out or flattened income. And then I think the killer for the rise in real wages was Reagan and Reaganomics, and that whole business about business being the business of America is business. What's good for General Motors is good for the USA. You know, that whole thing from the 50s, which was sort of a joke, became real during Reagan, and then we've had that whole idea all the way since then, including through and maybe even accelerated a little bit under Clinton. And I don't think Obama did as much as most of us hoped he could to bump that up too, bump up real wages. And now
right, but a lot of that.
Now we're really
some of
stuck.
those wages are negotiated in unions. You know, so if you can get a good job for $35,000 a year, that also puts pressure on other companies to offer competitive wages to attract talent. But if everyone has got a race to the bottom and a union job is at $12 an hour, well, you know, then that has an effect. You know, so.
Right, and unionization has gone down massively in the last.
Yeah.
Well, you
40.
know, it's been ticking down in the last 40 years.
Yeah, Republicans have targeted it with union busting legislation.
Yeah, and right to work has been Wisconsin is right to work, and that I never imagined would have happened, but we are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Republican takeovers.
You can trace around the birth of like neo-liberalism till now, like the decline in unions. There's almost like both have, you know, the decline and also the rise of neoliberalism at the same time almost. Like if you took two lines on a graph, it's about the same probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
so depressing.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That was fun.
Yeah, I was glad to wake up to that.
So, Chris, cheer us up.
I don't know. I went.
You're living life these days.
I'm living life. I'm having fun. Switching over in my public life seems to have been okay. At least, you know, my audience hasn't flown off in a snit. All 6 of them, you know. My shows has been going good. I got dropped from one repeating show though. One of the members objected to trans person, which is funny because that would mean he didn't realize that my keyboard player and lead guitar player is trans also.
Oh, boy, yes, to the world.
But somebody a lot more up there decided, okay, well, I'll take dates at each of these clubs, and you'll open for me. I'm like, okay. So
how are you? I saw you have your nails done.
Yes.
Yeah.
How else are you kind of pampering yourself in your new life?
Just being. It's a strange thing. I'm working on my voice a little bit, so I'll be going up and down, I'm sure. But it's just a strange thing. I feel a lot more comfortable when I leave the house. I feel like a lot more relieved.
There you go.
I feel a lot less bound in, even though I'm a lot more bound in.
Oh yeah.
The evil brass.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
Do not know how we live in this thing, or you live in this thing all those years. I'm glad I switched out late because I wouldn't have been able to deal with it for that many years.
That's why I was like, when you get home, first thing you do is you reach under your shirt and you pop that. Oh, yeah. I can breathe again.
A lot of guys like having more bras hanging around in the room, but my wife's bras are kind of getting in the way now of like some things I'm trying to get sometimes. Like I have to move them, and like, that's not how I thought.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Scrapes them
My
on
mind
things
is
like
going
stairs.
My mind is going someplace.
Oh, so like, theoretically, like, most boys and men want to have more bras like around their room, like that, or belong to a woman, of course. But now that I have my wife living in the same room with me, her bras get in the way of like she hangs like off like our dresser, and it's like trying to pull like the lower drawers because it gets in the way. So it's kind of it's inconvenient sometimes. I have to like push it aside
because they're dangling down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I went someplace else entirely.
A 5 foot dresser. Yeah, it's like 5 feet tall.
Get out of the gutter, Tom.
No, just like 4
no, I like it here. I'm sorry, Tim. Sorry, Tim.
We were thinking dirty thoughts of like that. My wife's bras are just everywhere. It's just like,
Yeah, I think Tom, we had thoughts of like the bra dangling from the light above the bed, you know, kind of thing.
Well, it was more the first thing he said that the bras were in the way of something he wanted.
Right. Yeah, actually, I think Kevin Pollak had a line about that, about how men really don't want to fuss with the back and back fastener, that guys really like the upfront clasp because they don't really want to deal with the packaging. They just want the prize. Breakaway snap up front, big thumbs up.
Those people
I don't know if this was a joke you guys saw one time, but it was like, okay, so it was an adult movie, but the guy, like, he thought that the girl's bra like what came undone in the back, but it didn't, right? So it was kind of like they kind of laughed about it, but then it's like one of the front clasp ones. So I don't know if that they put in there or it was just because he didn't know. I don't know. It was kind of funny though.
No, that's happened to me though. I've gone to reached around and gone to do that, and just like, geez, right here, idiot.
Because like there's that trick that like, a lot of guys they learn where they can like hit it with one or two fingers, or just on one hand, and then it just springs open basically. Like there's like that trick. I can never get that done probably, but my friend knows.
Can I just say that's pretty hot when a guy does that? Like it actually like shows some dexterity. It's like a little it's like a passing little test. Like, oh, okay, if you can do that with your fingers.
I think it's better done. Like, if you do it with your right hand, it's probably easier than coming from the left side. And I'm left-handed, so that's probably why anyway.
You need to practice more then, I think.
Yeah.
It can be done.
I
mean, I can do it both-handed, so, and that's just practice. So just put a bra on you, practice with your left hand, and then swap those skills.
I'm sure Deb is happy now that she decided to tune into the.
We were talking about stagflation and the decline of unions. We were very highbrow earlier.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking about somebody that came over from Ted's Hangout, and we had talked about what we talked about a time or two ago, and
we were talking about sex toys last time. Yeah.
I don't know how she felt about that, but it was pretty. we're getting there again, and I did it. I'm sorry.
Well, as long as Tom's dragged us down into the gutter with him. I did see a joke.
You guys came pretty willingly.
Netflix has this comedy series where it's a 15-minute, like, it's not your type 5, but like a 15-minute segment from people whose voices are underrepresented. So a lot of gay voices or trans voices on there. One of the women was talking about getting her sex toys and the fact that she's just gotten a new girlfriend, so she had to go out and get a new dick. She's like, you don't fuck a woman with the same dick that you fucked your old girlfriend with. You need to get a new dick. And so men will say, I don't understand that. And she's like, well, you only have one. But if you could, you would change that up every once in a while. I was like, this is why we need more representation in comedy, because that's an amazing joke I would have never thought of.
the one thing I really appreciate about doing this about over 50 now, it's okay. It took a lot of heartache and took a lot of time and all of that stuff, but my breasts are going to be perky.
Just about what Kristi said. I remember I had a conversation with this. She was a friend of mine. She's a lesbian, and she said she never understand why lesbians want to, fuck their girlfriends with a dildo, a strap on, because it's like, you're a lesbian. It's not like part of like that. So if you like that, get a man. I don't know. It was just funny, but I mean, I get it. It's sort of like, it's something they can do besides, scissoring and whatever. So
yeah.
It's just funny to hear her say that,
Yeah.
That, so.
There are also guys who
being
are
a lesbian. I'm cutting you, Jonathan, because I have something important to say.
Mm-hmm.
Being a lesbian is not being attracted to vaginas; it's being attracted to women. There are women with dicks, and that's perfectly fine. It's don't conflate the two. That's all that I had to say. So
I have a story. So last week there was this lesbian who was hitting on me like a lot, and she was doing like everything but, and I'm going, no, lesbian. Wait, lesbian. I'm totally misreading these signals, and then I'm like home 2 hours before I realized, oh right, that's my dating pool now.
I was just going to also mention that, like, as kind of related, there are straight men who enjoy basically receiving a strap-on dildo into the butt. It's called pegging.
Yeah.
And they can be absolutely perfectly straight, because being straight just means that I'm a guy who's attracted to women. And if a guy likes being pegged, that doesn't mean they're gay. And yet there are women who would.
And you have a prostate, so I don't know.
And
use it.
all the straight guys that go to jail, right, and come out, and they're still straight, even though they spent like 3 or 4 years getting pegged, I guess is the term we're going to use. But it doesn't change your sexuality, So yeah, I'm just for the joke, but yeah. So just record. I mean, I understand like that, like there's women, there's trans women that haven't had the operation and everything like that. But it was just like kind of weird to hear like a lesbian question that. I'm like,
yeah, I think it was more about your friend's own personal preferences and not quite understanding.
Kind of like,
she's like, I know what I like, and that's not what I like.
But like, it was like, at the time it made more sense to me than it does now. But anyway, she probably changed her view, I think, on that. We haven't talked about it since then, though.
Sex talk. We went from serious talk to now boobs.
Yeah. Do you always wait for the ace to come in to start talking about sex?
Well, I've been here the whole time, so
I would do it every minute.
We waited for them to be 2 aces in the room before we started the sex talks, or it just seemed to happen like that.
Well, yeah, it started with Tim complaining about his wife's bras, technically.
that wasn't with sex, though, right? It was like more about like functioning.
No, it was more about,
but bras are evil, so okay.
It's my mind that went in the gutter. So you're welcome.
I take blame for all of it. It's just something.
Don't take blame for Tom being a perv.
Yes, no. I object to losing credit.
No, I think Adam wanted there to be pointed out, just for the record, that he did 3 years and he didn't peg or get pegged, but there was a lot of self-gratification frequently, so we shouldn't overestimate the kind of sexual activities that happen in prison.
Fair enough.
Except for the self-gratification kinds. So.
Tom was in jail at one point? Is that what
Adam
you just said?
Adam Ramsopper in the chat was in jail.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Not Tom. No.
I was wondering. I'm old. I didn't remember that. I don't think there's that much of a memory gap.
Blacked it out. Okay.
You'd think
it could happen.
something like that. Well, yeah.
There's a lot about Tom we don't know.
Adam is cool.
Apparently there's a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, Adam Arthur is excellent.
You know,
Hi, Adam.
in an unironic way, I think what keeps a lot of men from committing crimes is actually homophobia, because they don't want to go to jail and risk the chance of getting pegged. So in a roundabout way, it's like a crime prevention tool in some kind of strange.
Yeah, no, there's no justification for prison rape.
No.
No. But I'm
Let's
saying
not calling it pegged. It's
fear-
actually
the fear of it
because
keeps people from committing crimes, and men anyway. Some men that are.
That's. I don't like where this conversation is going.
Well, some idiot politician around here says that we shouldn't, that homosexuals and trans people shouldn't go into prison because that's where they want to go, so that they could get all the sex that they want. I'm like,
yeah, I really need to send you those guillotines.
Anybody ever want to go to prison?
Yes.
Like, who wants to lose their freedom? I guess is what I'm trying to say to that.
A lot of files and whetstones, because we're gonna work those babies.
Although it even went on to say we should segregate out people who are tolerant of trans and trans people in prison from those who aren't, then I'd just say I think that the prisons that didn't have the anti-transphobes and stuff would be actually pretty safe prisons, and a lot more rehabilitation would go on there in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
I just think there should be massive prison reform anyway, because how we set it up. Yeah, that's a separate topic, but we need to be more focused on rehabilitation than opposed to creating the prison slave labor that we can exploit. Then we're back to capitalism.
Yeah, no, exactly. We need to realize that right now we're setting people up to fail when they go to prison. So it has to be reformed from start to finish, from who gets charges brought against them and the prosecuting attorneys, all the way through public defenders and making sure people have good defenses and they're not pleading guilty because they don't have the financial resources to defend themselves, thereby giving up their right to an appeal. All the way, and then getting rid of public prisons or private prisons, I should say. And any for-profit incarceration of citizens. That's just insane.
Yes.
Yep.
Because again, they're not giving those wages out to the guards. They're getting minimum wage guards in, or basically as low as they can get, and funneling all those profits into the taxpayer money right into private hands. That's what it is, at the expense of our citizens, who they fail to rehabilitate, and so they just end up back in the system, and we end up paying them more money. It's insane.
Yeah. I think where was I going? Oh shit! Yes. Okay. Well, senior moment. One of the things that might help at least a little bit would be to amend the 13th Amendment, because freed the slaves, did all kinds of neat stuff, except it made an exception. No labor required without payment, except for prisoners.
Or the punishment or something like that.
It's written in the Constitution that if you're jailed for a crime,
you can be a slave.
The rest, you're right. The rest of the 13th Amendment doesn't apply to you, and I think that's and maybe that's esoteric for most people, but I think if you took that away, just the act of getting that amendment through would highlight and make people start thinking about the problem of prison slavery. There are people fighting wildfires in California and probably in other places in the West Coast.
Yeah, I saw that. That's disgusting. Yeah.
That are getting $1 a day or something like that because they're prisoners. And one thing is to get out.
They send youth offender to do that too. Youth offender. Let's agree on something. I'm not from the US, so youth offender, they're kids, okay? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, they're minor. They are sending kids to fight fires for free.
Yeah.
That's insane, yeah.
Hey.
I think a lot of prisoners might want to actually get out of prison to do something like that. That it might be a change of scenery, but it's dangerous, and there ought to be recompense other than just getting out of jail for a little while. Because they're still under control. Go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and when they get out, they can't get a job doing that. So if it was something that was useful for them to, you know, be able to do once they got out, but no.
Yeah,
I think, you know, if these private companies want to run the prisons, then they should also be required to put in education programs and sort of like set up internships for when they leave the private prison, because what are they doing, right? They need to offer something more to be competitive, right? So, and also if they're going to be private, they should be tied in that labor, right? They should be tying that labor into the market so it can be repurposed once they leave their facility.
Those
had some kind of requirement like that, then
hard to give them like a job after.
Right.
They do. I don't know. They can be prison guards, or I don't know, something like that, because they understand the prisoners in that way. So it kind of would help with the empathy for the prisoners if these people were in jail before and they know. I know in Canada there's not quite the segmentation of prisoners as there is in the States, where they're basically they can't get a job after because people won't hire them. There's this thing called
tough on crime.
Yeah. Well, that too. But we have this thing called a pardon. If you commit a certain crime, not like murder, but you can get a pardon for it, and then basically it's like way off your record, and you can go to them and say, "I have a clean record," and get a job. I think it's like non-violent offenses or something like that. It's not like stuff like armed robbery or something like that, but and more serious things. But at least that's there to somewhat mitigate the harm of a conviction that people have after they get out.
Right.
So they get on with their life.
There's also like a documentary on Netflix called The 13th Amendment, or just the 13th, something like that covers all of that topic that I've been told. And so I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to like seeing it when I finally do. So that'll be another something to watch on this topic.
Tom, have you seen it?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nobody did the homework?
No. I was preparing for the other homework of looking at the schedule for secular women's work.
Yes. Yeah, well, we completely forgot about that. Sorry, Tom. Your show. Sorry.
No, that's all right. You told me I didn't have to worry about to do anything, so I completely checked out of all of that.
We're laughing because we know he hasn't.
Yeah, I checked right before this, and I posted the most recent speakers list.
I'll post it again for the people that joined the chat afterwards.
Okay, thank you. And the for those of you who saw it on the Facebook page, there hasn't been an updated schedule since then, since that tentative schedule that probably nobody noticed when I posted it in the Snowflakes Facebook group. But I talked to, I got feedback from Stephanie Zavan that the updated schedule should be out. Well, she said by the end of this week, so today maybe. I don't know. It'll be, I imagine, sometime next week. But basically the schedule is you have some open general sessions, and then like most conferences, you have breakout tracks. And I have some tracks in mind that I wanted. If anybody actually saw the schedule and had some things they would like me to go to, that'd be fine. But I have some ideas. I have some things what I would like to do in the breakout chats.
Let's hear them. Which ones?
I don't have it in front of me, but it's.
Well, I have it in front of me.
Okay.
Well, are you talking about the workshops or just the normal talks that are happening in the main hall?
Well, I'm gonna go to all the
tracks. If
there's
like
4
1
tracks.
or 2, 3, 4 tracks, you can maybe read those out, and you'll remember which one if Jonathan reads them.
Okay, so in the first track, we have handling public criticism by Stephanie Svan. Assertiveness training. Ooh, that's interesting. By Heather Rosa. Imposter syndrome in set 3. And then number 4. Then set 4 is avoiding burnout. That's in track 1.
Who's doing imposter syndrome?
Valia Allura. Copy and paste it.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Okay.
So it sounds like kind of getting your mental house in order for engagement. You know?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, even with Maria Watanabe, Maria Shut Up. She has posted on like Twitter how she has imposter syndrome for what she is doing, and yet what I think she's doing, which is feminist propaganda, is awesome. But for me myself, I can kind of relate with imposter syndrome. As I say, I am a pretend movie reviewer on my channel.
Yeah,
I don't have.
I've
never encountered any imposter syndrome whatsoever.
I felt,
No, of course not.
I think when I first started out with my PhD, I did. And then I just realized that, one, it's okay to make mistakes if you acknowledge them and correct them. And two, it's okay to say I don't know if I don't know. And that if someone points out that I was wrong, I should say thanks and not do it again in future. And so that took care of a lot of it, the imposter syndrome for me. But anyway, sorry, I'm interrupting. Yes, with a side note, and I'm sure in terms of imposter syndrome, my brief flirt with it was nothing compared to what you experienced for your whole life. So just acknowledging that. What's the next track, Jonathan?
Okay, so for track 2, in the warehouse 1, workshop 1, volunteering waggling. That's interesting.
Wrangling.
Wrangling. Okay. Okay. Probably like keeping volunteers together. It's like, okay, here we're going to do this.
Don't waggle volunteer.
Moving on. Okay, and so on track 2, set 2, workshop 2, activism for newbies. Okay, by Lauren Lane, and then managing online spaces. That's interesting. And then like set 4 is making the most of social media. That's in track 2.
Okay, so it sounds more like organizing, getting people together, kind of management skills.
Then okay, so then in track 3, workshop 1, refining your message by Ilsa Roberts, and then from workshop 2, reproductive justice, and then workshop 3, wiki editing. Okay, and then like workshop 4, write a letter to your representative. So getting your message out there, essentially.
Yeah, Manette's got to be doing that one.
Manette's doing the wiki editing, not the letter to your representative.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Okay. It's Chelsea that's doing Chelsea du Forsois. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. She's doing the write a letter to your representative.
That makes sense too.
And then in the final track, it's workshop 1 or workshop 1 and 2. Step 1 and 2 is effective activism. And then in set 3 is activism within limit. Oh, that's interesting. And then set 4, accessibility 101.
So, Tom, does that ring any bells?
Yeah, my memory is not great. I need to see things in front of me to make sense of them.
Oh, I should have screen shared. I could have done that. Hold on.
That's all right. Well, all right.
Yeah, let's do that right now since I have like read them all off. This is like all of the like sets for like all the things in track 1, track 2, track 3.
Let's see. There you go. Okay.
And anyone in the Hangout can just like click on my screen, or like Kristi can like click
I
to
blocked it.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Wait, I can't see it.
Can you increase the size of the font on the screen to like 150% in the 3 dots?
In the 3 dots? What?
That's upper right-hand corner. Sorry, go back to the screen you were
Chrome.
on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In the Chrome bar.
Okay, yeah. Nope. There we go.
Yeah, I thought about 150.
There we go.
Okay, all right.
It keeps popping off on mine.
Can you lock it on? Kristi, can you lock on the?
No. In you guys' screen, you have to like click on my screen down in the corner in the Hangout browser. It's locked on for like when you present to. Well, I guess you can present to everyone.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Icon where it says like it's like a square with a arrow. If you hit that, it freezes it on your screen.
I did it right in the middle, and it did too. So
because I can see it right now, even with everybody else speaking, it's not flashing left and right.
I never knew that before.
Neither did I. This is cool.
See, people, you learn something new every day.
That's right. That's really nice.
And this is just like the workshop tracks. There's also like the main schedule I can scroll up to like later on.
Yes, please do.
But not now, right?
Yeah, this is for Tom. He's actually going.
Yeah. All right.
Ready?
Do you want me to tell you what I'm looking at?
Yeah, which track were you thinking about?
Refining your message for set 1. Activism for newbies. This is one of the things I'd like to. It's a little bit newbie for me in this particular space, in that particular, in these particular topics. I've done activism and lots of other things, but for this particular thing, for women and women's issues and that kind of stuff, I'd like to have a little update. Managing online spaces, because I'm looking at doing things online.
And online groups are great in part because the barriers to participation are lower, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on after that. So a little snippet of the thing. So yeah.
Right. And thinking about making the most of social media. Again, I'm looking more at what I'm looking at doing, looking at social media and organizing, getting the word, getting my message together, trying to figure out what I want to do, get the word out, and do that for the group. For me, and things I want to do too, but do it in the sense of what I could bring back to the group and talk about that might be useful, that might repay the confidence you put in me for this thing. So that's what I'm thinking. Anybody think I should do something else?
I think it's going to be hard to go wrong, to be honest.
Yeah. Whatever way you go. This is.
Yeah. Although some of it is like volunteer wrangling and things like that looks more to me like stuff for groups that you are responsible for putting together and pointing on a mission, and that's Kristi's job in this group. So, no, I could do the track, and then she and I could fight. That'd be fun. But those are the things I'm looking at doing.
When I come to Wisconsin at the end of October, we'll have an arm wrestling match.
You'll win because I'm after I had my surgery a couple years ago on my shoulder, and I lost all that muscle mass from not being able to do any kind of exercises for months. You could probably take me.
I don't know. Don't underestimate my complete flab on my arm for just basically typing all day long. It's about the most I do.
Yeah, but I'm old, so I win. So I win at losing.
There you go. Yeah, are we ready to scroll down now?
Hey, well, I have to scroll up.
Scroll up.
Well, the thing is, like, I think how it's set up is like they have like the different workshops and stuff like that.
Yeah, those workshop tracks are fit in the middle of all this other stuff. They have general sessions, and then they have breakouts into the tracks and sets.
Well, Debbie, I see Debbie. I see Debbie Goddard there. Please,
taking control of the old guard.
She gets the fly. She lives right near me, so it's like
you should have gone to this, Chris. You know everybody.
Well, yeah, I do, but but Debbie got Debbie got it. I see her a fair amount.
Jonathan, stop! Don't move the screen. Sorry. If you could just leave it static, because I am particularly interested, Tom, if you could take notes in taking control from the old guard.
Yeah,
I'm really interested in what they have to say in there. So.
And
okay.
Would that be like the old guard of feminism or the old guard of just activism?
The secular movement, I think.
It's a secular movement.
Secular movement, growth, mature. So it's the secular movement that they're talking about taking the old guard for. Yeah, I agree.
How we get rid of Bill Maher and people like that? Okay, yeah.
Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, that sort of thing.
Richard Dawkins, he was on Twitter the other day.
I was hoping time or disease would get rid of all of them, but unfortunately that's not happening yet. So we have to maybe be more proactive.
Sam Harris is not.
But Dawkins. Sorry, I'll just finish this. Dawkins was saying, am I the only one who finds it ridiculous that there's an entire field called continental philosophy? You know, we don't have continental chemistry or continental physics. Just use Google and God.
Did he write that during his continental breakfast, or?
Yeah.
There's American philosophy there, like or.
But well, Debbie is an amazing organizer and speaker. So she's all of them are, but just I'm particularly fond of her. So.
Yep, and she's also hosting that Future of the Movement. That's an hour before taking control of the old guard, and so that's just on Friday. Now scrolling down to like Saturday, we have the more funding or how to ask for more money. It's interesting.
It's absolutely vital.
Yes, it is. Yeah, money, because we live in a capitalist society, money makes the world go round. So money is important. So it is a necessary evil, but it is necessary. And here's this one, getting your message across in a hostile press.
Yeah, Marty's listed as a presenter. I wonder if he's going to be there. She's going to be there. Okay.
You already know someone there, Tom. You go say hi to her.
I don't know if she's going to be there or if that's going to be because
well, unless they update the schedule,
Well, because I've been following what she's doing. She just went on a tour of Scotland. Tour of Scotland and
ate Taco Bell. It's really strange.
I don't think she ate Taco Bell in Scotland because I don't think there's any Taco Bells in Scotland. But she did have haggis in Scotland. But she has posted on Facebook of her priorities of making sure how to get to Taco Bell so she can have Taco Bell because she does miss Taco Bell.
No, she
Why? There was a
that was a thing.
Their faux meat that they don't even use real meat in their product.
But you don't know what it's like when you're so so away, and then you see something like that from home, and it's so distinctive. Yeah, you don't go there to enjoy the food, kind of.
You
go there because
I made a
you reminisce
to a fast food restaurant like wherever you go in the world just to see where they exist. That is, it won't be happier. But I had a thought about that fundraising title to make it more humorous. You can say fundraising or how to ask for money without using a gun. It's America, right?
It's Wisconsin too, so no, it's Minnesota.
Minnesota.
By the way,
don't get it twisted. Yes, please.
What's the date on this again? By the way,
the
August
25th and 26th weekend in 2 weeks.
There's actually a 15% chance I might be making it out there that week.
Oh, that would be great. Oh, wow. I know somebody for sure then.
Yeah, there's only a 15% chance because it's going to depend on when royalties and such come around. But but I have to visit my aunt in where this is taking place, and so
Oh,
Really?
perfect.
So I'm staying with my son, so we get to sleep on couches. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Different couches, different places.
Same city.
Same
So
city.
then
Well, same
yeah.
area.
And then down here later on, after 5 p.m. on Saturday, how to be an ally. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm just interested in that because like I think I'm a good ally, but like I want to like be able to like make sure I'm not screwing it up. Which of course, well, you people in this hangout will tell me if I'm a terrible ally, and yeah, so I'll just listen to others that say I'm a good ally, or this is how you be a good ally, and it's not about you as the ally. You know, it's about them. But that's my piece.
Yeah, I aspire. I've been saying lately, I aspire to be an ally. We aspire to be considered an ally.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my label to take on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You should. Others should give you that label of ally instead of you saying yourself, "I am an ally," something like that. It is something that others have to give to you as opposed to you give to yourself.
Yeah, for me, it's a verb, not a noun.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. I've had someone in my life who's like, I know how to be an ally. I have other trans friends. Okay.
I don't know if now. I'm just a prick who likes to put down homophobes, racists, transphobes, and anybody else that hates on everybody. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And then lobbyists are people too. Huh? Well, I mean, yeah, I certainly have my opinions, but I guess if they're part of this system, it's like important to work with them. Just like it's a necessary evil like money. You just need money in order to like make everything go and make everything work. So I guess you have to work with lobbyists too in order to make everything work. You have to work with the government that's currently in place so that changes can be made through reform. So yeah,
but reading what they even not having read this before, lobbyists. A lobbyist is anyone who goes to talk to a legislator about or somebody in the administration about an issue that knows something about that issue. And what's happened is that lobbyists that get all the attention are the people that have that represent a big organization or company or something like that. There are lots of grassroots lobbyists who are in it for the passion for the issue, and they're not backed by money for the most part, unless they're turf, astroturfs, or turfs, whatever. Yeah. But the point being that you can be a lobbyist and not be an asshole and not be not be a shill for the system.
Yeah, I was just thinking actually, beat me to it. So good job. But
okay, I'm sorry. This has gone back a long way for me because I actually have been involved in lobbying activities at the grassroots for organizations in Wisconsin, and it's a whole different ball game from big money lobbyists and the people the legislators that listen to you are a whole different pack of legislators than the ones that listen to the big money lobbyists.
Yeah. The term has gotten a bad name over the years, I think, in recent times because of like the for instance, like the healthcare debate, like there's a lot of corporate HMO interference in that as well. But a lot of lobbyists are just people who are advocating for, whatever nonprofit they work for or NGO or other group that they're trying to affect some kind of change in some way. That's all they really are.
Lawyers get a bad reputation generally as a profession, but there are good lawyers.
Yeah. Right. Like an immigration lawyer is going to help my wife get her visa application in order and all that. So he's a good guy.
Okay, yeah, Chris.
Oh, I got lost. Sorry.
It's okay.
So scrolling down.
Yeah. We'll wrap up the conference and then we'll wrap up the show.
Yeah, it's just like a black non-believers past, present, and future, which
That's
I think
cool.
is just that's very important because like
Mhm.
you, Kristi, and like others have like, I mean, Kristi I think also mentioned, so like we don't, as a cis white het male like myself, I don't understand how important the church communities is for like other people, like for women or for black communities, and so it is important to listen to black non-believers, and that's where we need to listen to them to know is like, well, why are there people of color or women women who are people of color not welcome to the secular movement and stuff like that. So I think this is a very important one. It's happening on Sunday, so that's cool. And then the last one is just like events on a budget,
which they would know a lot about.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a great conference.
Can you
So I'll
scroll
take it
down
over.
again just for the heck of it? So I want to write down so I remember what I said.
Managing online spaces and making the most of social media are definitely ones. You also did you mention like activism for newbies as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm writing it down right now. I just need to see.
It looks like it's basically room 20, except for the first one, and that one would be room 15. So effective activism, right? Or was it
refining your message?
Refining. Okay, 60, right? And then activism for newbies, managing online spaces and social media, and those are all in 20.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
60
Got it.
and 20. Okay.
All right, I'm going to stop screen sharing now.
Okay.
But now this is a temporary schedule or initial schedule.
Right.
I'm not sure it's going to be fixed in place.
I mean, honestly, for me, like for my fun time comic book conventions or anime conventions, I just always have to like just pick and choose what I have to like go to. Do I go to get the autographs from these Japanese creators over here, or do I go to this panel about like feminism and anime? Well, this last time I went to the feminism and anime because there was nothing else conflicting with that. But there's always like some things that are kind of like a conflict, so you just gotta like pick and choose. But I figure with like that list, you are going to get something worth watching or worth seeing.
Yeah.
Oh, my clock ran 1 hour and 17 minutes before there was an anime discussion.
Oh no, what happened to Leto? Where'd she go?
She said she got tired and left.
Oh,
okay, yeah, I see that now.
Yeah.
I think I was too busy looking at the screen to read the chat, internal chat.
Yeah,
I
missed it too. I feel bad about that.
Dear. Hope you feel better.
Well, it has to be 2 kisses because it's metric and French.
That entirely depends on the region.
Sometimes it's 3. Yes, that's very German.
Only
Thank
one.
you, Mariana.
The intricacy of regionalism, I guess. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've got a friend who's Romanian. We do 4, and it's really silly when we meet each other and talk for like 2 minutes because we spent like the first minute doing the 4 kisses, and then we talk for a minute and a half, and then we do another 4 kisses. We spend more time like air kissing than actually talking.
Jeez.
Well, I guess that about
That
wraps
was
it up,
very
guys.
useful. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah, Tom, go ahead. Your thoughts.
Okay, that ticks off all the things I was going to ask about, except it occurred to me that it might be useful to have a business card kind of thing to give out to people at the thing, but I don't, I am myself, and I can give out a business card that says who I am and my contact information. But I was wondering if you think the group ought to be recognized on the business card, like, Tom McDonald representing Kristi Winter's Hangout, a Patreon group. Or does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it's at all necessary, but no. I mean, I think that's an incredibly sweet idea, but I'm
thinking more along the lines. It's for me more than anything. Along the lines of letting people know that I am not just some rando. Well, I am some rando, but I know people like Kristi Winters, and there's a fair chance. Well, I know like Monet is going to know you, and Stephanie is going to know you, and some other people may know you by name and have interacted with you. And I'm wondering if that might how you feel about that. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. I'll just be myself, and that's fine. That's perfectly all right. I just want to make sure that I didn't slight anybody by not offering that option for whatever it's worth.
What you could maybe do is you'll probably, sorry, there's somebody backing up in my street. You will probably get a badge when you arrive at the conference with your name on it, and it'll probably have a big white space underneath it. So if you wanted to like handwrite or print out there, like, you know, like we'll put something about the Resistance Fund delegate, you know, from the Kristi Winters channel or something like that. You know, you can do that. So. Okay,
so I could just, on a card, I could just have my own contact information. That would be all right with you guys?
Yeah, because you'd be the person they'd know, so definitely.
Okay, all right, gotcha. See, these are the things I obsess about, and to the point where I spent myself into penury this month by buying a new. I spent myself into penury.
Penury. What?
Nice word usage.
Yeah, very good. But
I'm an English major. I have to use it once in a while. I don't think my life is that whole period of my life is valued. No, I bought a color print cartridge for a Canon, small Canon printer, and they are expensive.
Oh, Tom. Well, we'll have to find ways.
I'm doing it I did it for myself. I needed to do it. I've been putting it off.
Okay.
This is just. I'm making it worse than it is. But it
was supposed to be a fun trip.
Bad for me.
It was supposed to be a fun trip. A working
vacation. It's going to be a fun trip. It's going to be fun.
Okay. I don't want you to stress out. I don't want you to buy a new wardrobe.
I was stressing out. I was coming into this. I was stressing out because I wanted to make sure I was doing what people wanted me to do.
Well,
because you're.
I wanted you to just go
to piss us off, Tom. It would be hard for you to piss us off.
I could try.
Well, I guess if you want to.
Oh yeah, Mariana offered you to make you boobs.
Yes, I am.
Oh, I thought those were for Tom for his stress.
Yeah.
I'm conflating two conversations.
Well, she could have meant both. She could have meant both.
Oh dear.
We're back to boobs talk already.
Maybe she could make some boobs and Tom could test them out and give a user comment and some feedback before she made the
To quote David Duchovny in Californication, everybody likes a big pair of round boobs.
Yep. Well, and on that boob shell.
So wait, one more boob question.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris, did the donations cover enough to get some stuff?
They got yes. I got most of what I needed to be able to get around. That's not the word I want.
Get around.
She gets around. She.
That's what she said.
I got.
The first sheet, that's what she said in the Kristi Winters picture. No.
That's a crossover, yeah.
In a backhanded way, but anyway.
I was able to get enough. I'll be able to get some of the plates so I can do some oh, God, no. Now my brain is going in all sorts of different directions. I got enough where I was able to wear and perform and such.
Plunging neckline.
Plunging neckline.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be getting a combo plate, I suppose, for lack of a better term, part silicone thing where it looks a bit more real. But everything you guys sent to me, I did spend on that specifically. I had a separate. I made sure that was kept in a separate file. So
I'm glad
So
you
I-
got some
Glad to
help
help.
with
I
that.
appreciate it. I very much appreciate it.
Excellent.
So-
Well, so then on that second boob shell, so 2 boob shells,
the boob shell.
a good-looking pair of boob
Stress
shells.
boobs.
Yes.
Someone said that in the live chat. The Trotius stress boobs.
Hello, the Troutiness, our logical fallacies chant from the Sargon Hangout. Right. Well, if you guys would ever like to join the Hangout and talk about boobs, you can do so by donating as little as $1 a month into my tip cup. That's my patron account, which is linked below. And you'll also be giving to the Resistance Fund, the fund that's funding Tom to go to the conference that we talked about today. So thanks to my patrons for making that possible. Thanks to Tom for going. We look forward to what you're going to bring back for us in terms of stories and also merch.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to come up with some contest or something to draw people in from the chat or whatever and give out some prizes maybe. So I can tell Tom, give Tom a budget for some Secular Women Con prizes. All right, guys.
Yeah.
So all that's left to be said is that I have been Kristi. My guests, my patrons have been awesome. People in the chat, you guys have been awesome. I'm going to let goodbye from me and goodbye from everybody in the Hangout. So goodbye, everybody. Oh, and if you have something to plug, now's the time to do it, if you do.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
I haven't posted anything new on my channel that I think worthy at plugging. But still, go to the Submarine Geek channel for movie reviews and hangouts and political talk and me playing Final Fantasy 4.
Oh, okay. I'll check that out.
And the Packers preseason has started last week. We won the first game. So I would like to plug my team.
And anything from you, Chris?
I suppose Chris Abbey Music, because it's going to be changing quite a bit, and information on how to get to the reconfiguration of my channel. So
excellent. So that's the goodbye from the chat.
That's it.
Yeah, you guys.
Oh,
okay.
Can I say?
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I can't wait for hockey season because my team got a player that they wanted for a long time, so I'm waiting for that. But also, I'm an English teacher. If anybody needs English lessons, you can find me on italki.com, and I give my link to Kristi, and she can post it in this the
description box.
information for the. So. Okay.
You can also leave it as like a comment in once the video goes live as well. I've done that before.
That too, yeah.
Excellent. Cool. Well, I'll have to do this more often then. Let you guys give a bit of a shout out. Okay. So everyone, thanks for coming by and watching, and goodbye.